Hey there YouTube, it's Aaliyah. So in case it hasn't already become plainly obvious from my accent, I was born and raised in the United States of America. However, for the past 6 months or so, I have been living and going to school in the Republic of Ireland. And in those 6 months, I have noticed a few differences in how things are done in the United States versus how they are done here in Ireland. So without further ado, here are a few differences between living in Ireland versus living in the United States. One of the biggest things I've noticed is the use of public transportation here. Oh my god, I love the public transportation here! No, like seriously, you have no idea. I don't have a driver's license here or in the States. I never took my test. So for me, being able to get from point A to point B without too much trouble is a big deal. Back in the States, public transportation isn't exactly a thing. While it's here, if I want to get somewhere, all I have to do is hop on a bus, pull up my handy dandy Leap card, and I can get just about anywhere that I want to. It is so handy. Meanwhile, if I wanted to get somewhere in the States, I would likely have to ask for a ride from my parents. So in general, that is one thing that I do definitely appreciate about moving here. On the note of travel, I also really like that over here, traveling is a lot more feasible of a thing. Because for those of you who did not grow up in the States, I don't know if you know this, but it is a big flippin' country. Like, I used to go to school in Minnesota. I grew up in Minnesota. It took 3 hours to drive from where I grew up to where I went to school. Meanwhile here, I can catch a car ride or a train ride or a bus ride for 3 hours and I'm already in another country. Or if I felt like flying, I could hop on a plane and in an hour, I am in England. I actually did this for a friend's birthday a couple of weeks ago. We actually hopped on a flight and went to another country for the weekend. And we're all broke students. We could still afford this. That is mind-boggling to me. But at the same time, I love it because I love traveling, so this is really awesome for me. Then there's a little something that I kind of like to make fun of some of the locals around here for, the weather. And of course, when I say teasing, I mean, you know, friendly teasing. I get made fun of for how my accent has gone progressively stronger the longer I've been here. I make fun of them for not being able to handle 2 inches of snow. Because you see, where I grew up, we had 6-foot snowdrifts in January, and my mom would use me as scale so she could send pictures to her friends who lived in warmer climates. Meanwhile here, I have not seen any snow. So whenever I get people from here telling me that no one would want to come here because of the horrible weather that is so cold and so awful, I just laugh. And then I show them a picture from home that somebody took and posted on Facebook of their car being buried in snow. Whenever you're talking about living in another country for an extended period of time, you can't really get away with it without talking about the differences in cuisine. Now, I'll admit, this wasn't exactly a huge change for me. I am very much a mean potatoes kind of girl. So in a way, that kind of ended up working out pretty well, since you know there's a lot of meat and carb-filled dishes around here. One of the biggest things that I miss from back home is spicy food. I may have grown up in Minnesota, which is kind of notorious for not having very much spicy food, but I got spicy food growing up. Like, my mom would make Cajun, my dad would take us out to different restaurants that had a bunch of really spicy foods in it, and oh my god, I miss Chipotle so much. Like, when I mentioned going to London for a friend's birthday, we actually did stop at Chipotle over there because it's in London, but it's not here in Ireland. That is how much I miss it. Now, don't get me wrong, I can find spicy food here, but as like a commonly found dish, or when I'm looking at foods that are spicy, I have to ask myself, is this really spicy, or does it just say that it's spicy? Because there is a very big difference to me with that. And it gets to be a little bit disappointing whenever I bite into something thinking I'm finally gonna get some spicy food, and it's not really spicy. But what can I say? Live and learn, all that jazz. The reason that I came here to Ireland in the first place, school. Really, as far as schooling goes, the biggest thing to actually throw me off balance is the differences in spelling. I'm sure that a lot of people have made fun of us Americans for how we spell everything a little bit differently. This gets to be a problem when I'm writing an essay and my spell check on my word processor is still set to American English because I keep forgetting to change the default over. And it has led to some annoying moments where I am proofreading something for someone else and they're using the correct spelling for this side of the Atlantic, and I keep changing all the spelling to the American version, and then after I'm halfway through the document I look at it and go, oh crap, and then I have to go through and re-change it all over again. Thankfully, nothing has been submitted that has all those spelling mistakes, at least to my knowledge, and God, I hope not. So obviously there are some differences between living here versus living in the States, and even after 6 months, I'm still adjusting to some of them. Who knows, maybe in another 6 months I'll have actually adjusted and be able to stop marveling at all the different things and not look like a wide-eyed tourist staring at everything. I guess we'll just have to see then. All for now. Bye.